This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This your boy Black Magus, and so I got my hands on the Uncharted 4 beta. Really briefly to let you guys know, it's really easy, and it's funny because when I was doing a podcast with the Team Green podcast, somebody was commenting in the section that it was hard. It's really not hard. It's not a lot of work. Here's what you do. It's simple. If you don't own the game, you can rent the game and you can play the beta. Basically, you go to something like RAIDMAX, GameFly. It's really not that hard, especially if you live in the States. Now, if you live outside of the United States, I don't know what you have that you can get, but I know, like, for RAIDMAX, it's $3. You rent it, all you do is install the game, and then you start a campaign. And when I mean start a campaign, I mean, hey, just hit X. When you hit X, it'll ask you to create a save file. You create that save file, and then you turn the game off. Once the save file is created, you're in the beta. That's the thing. And I think a lot of people might have thought that, you know, the person who said it was hard might have thought that I was saying you have to play the game. No, you don't have to play the Uncharted game. Just gotta, like, hit start on the campaign and make the file, because that file is the authentication for the beta. Download the beta and you're in. That's it. You don't have to play Uncharted campaign. Take it back to wherever rental place you got it from. Like, I got it, I took it back, you know, and I've been playing the beta for the last 2 days. And I have to say, I'm having fun. I'm having a lot of fun. And I'm surprised that I'm having fun. Very, very surprised, because I was being skeptical about this game leading up to the release of the beta, simply because the powers, the mysticals, and the sidekicks in particular. I was really like, yeah, like, oh my god, because Uncharted 2, I thought it was a very, very good multiplayer, because it was pretty much simplistic. It was a gun on gun. We're gonna shoot each other. Boom, that's it. There wasn't really any extras to it. It was just, you know, running around some good maps with some, you know, good gunplay, or at least decent gunplay. I mean, Uncharted's gunplay has grown over the years, and I will say this: Uncharted 3 gunplay is, you know, was the epitome of it. But the thing that Uncharted 3 did was they started adding all these different kickbacks and boosters, and you could find these chests and get special stuff. It just like a lot of it was all over the map and into the gameplay, and I wasn't a fan of that, because, you know, I'm not a fan of games, multiplayers that have a lot of extra assists to gameplay. And this is coming from somebody who's not a competitive gamer. When I play online multiplayers, I like knowing that it's all about, can I outshoot this guy better, you know, than he could outshoot me, things like that. You know, I don't need a lot of complication systems and all that. I feel like that stuff bogs the game down. It creates a false sense of achievement in games, and worse yet, it sets the table up for people who, you know, like, it's funny because for someone who's not that good at multiplayer games, you would think I would be all into, like, the Call of Duty perk system and the kill streaks and all that stuff, but I'm not, because for me, at least from my perspective, that it's an assist. It's a helping hand. It gives you an opportunity to excel in the game without having to actually do much yourself or get much better yourself. That's just me. Mind you, there's a lot of really good Call of Duty players who not only can use those things, but are just great with gun skills, and that's cool. But I think a lot of Call of Duty fans will agree with me is that over the years, as you know, kill streaks and perks have evolved, it's become more of a, okay, we need to figure out something to help the people who aren't necessarily good, and not necessarily give something that benefits those people who are good at first-person shooters. You know what I mean? And this is how I feel about when games throw in these things. It's like, well, let's do like Call of Duty. Let's, you know, this is what we need to do to make things better for those people who might struggle or suffer. And I'm not saying that, you know, making a game, balancing a game so that everybody can enjoy it is a bad thing. But I think that it's bad when you use auxiliary stuff. Like, balance the weapons really well. Make the maps like accessible for everybody. Like, make the maps very like free flowing. I think that's one thing a lot of people don't do well, is free flowing maps that make sense, along with weapons that feel good, that have, you know, sort of a balance to them, and just make sure that your gameplay is solid. And even with the like mysticals and the sidekicks, which I was really hating when I saw the trailer and I saw the Naughty Dog thing, I feel like they've made them to where they're not totally intrusive. They're just a simple, they're an accessory, but right now, to me at least, they're not an overbearing aspect of the game. So it tends to 9 times out of 10 come down to the gunplay mechanics, the map flow, and, you know, the gameplay design. And it ends up being a fun, free flowing, quick pace, good time. And I was very, very surprised at that. That's what I like. I like games that are like that. That's my whole thing. You know, that's part of the reason why I like, you know, stuff like Battlefront. You know, it's solid where it needs to be solid, and it doesn't give you a lot of extra stuff that kind of breaks the balance more than it, for at least for me. And this is just my opinion, people, so please don't take what I'm saying as like the definitive word on the game. That's not how I approach things. I'm just telling you how it feels for me. So please don't go around like saying that he's spreading some type of gospel. No, this is just for me. But for me, yeah, it's very solid. I haven't unlocked all of the weapons, but the stuff that I use, I like. What I like is it's not. How could I say this? When you aim down sights, there's no soft lock, there's no hard lock. And I kind of like that, because that means that nobody can just snap to you. It's not a case of, okay, I put my finger to the trigger faster. It's, I aim better than you. And again, this is coming from somebody who sucks at a lot of multiplayer games. I like that because it gives me the opportunity to be able to improve myself in like aiming and stuff like that, and give me, I feel like, a better chance of competing that way by having me build my skill, if that makes sense to you. And it feels good. It feels good. You know, the frames, I believe, 60 frames per second. It doesn't feel yucky to me. I'm somebody who, you know, I don't care what your frames is, but sometimes when games are in 60 frames per second, they can kind of feel yucky to me. This one doesn't. This one feels very smooth, very fluid. I guess it's because of the movement. And again, this goes back to gameplay mechanics. It's like, yeah, you could be 60 frames per second, but if your movement and stuff like that is kind of awkward, then it's not going to work. It doesn't matter whether it's 60 or 30 or 20 or 90 or 120, whatever. Your mechanics just don't work. They're janky. And this isn't janky. It's very, very smooth. Overall, so far the beta has been solid. Things that I will complain about, again, I said I had my reservations about the what's his name, the mysticals and the sidekicks. I still kind of do. Again, while I don't think they dominate the map, I actually kind of agree with shout outs to Broken Games. Kind of agree with what he says. Like, they kind of throw more of a strategic. Somehow they work to where they throw a more strategic aspect. Like, I know when someone throws that Wrath of El Dorado, I'm out. It breaks up the map. It keeps people from like hunkering down and camping in certain areas. It's like, if you go against a team that are all clustering in one area, and you got one area and you got that, throw it in there, they all scatter and it makes like people move. Same thing with the Brute. Like, as soon as you see that, you want to get the fuck away. So it's a weird thing, but a lot of their extra stuff does the opposite of what I feel like Call of Duty does, and it's like, as of now, and it encourages you to move and like run around, as opposed to, I'm going to just sit here and let my Brute go to work, or I'm going to wait until something happens with. It's like, your Brute moves around the map, so he's not going, and he can get killed. They can die, even though I think one of the things they need to take away is the regenerative health. They should not regen. They should not regen at fucking all. But and it's funny because I was supposed to be going on the negatives, but I'm kind of going on something that's positive. But yeah, it's kind of hard to harp on the negative stuff, but I do think that, I don't think they should be in the game, but being in the game, thinking about it, they still kind of make sense. And that's the weird thing about this game that I find for myself, is that all the things that I was just like, no, why are you doing this? It kind of makes sense. I begrudgingly could say that it makes sense. Again, the Wrath of El Dorado, it's a good way to shake up the other team that's camping in one area, like wailing on your team. You get them all scattering. If your team is good and smart, they are going to flank to areas so they can catch them coming. It's a level of strategy that I was very, very surprised to see in this game. It encourages team play. That's another thing. It seriously encourages you to kind of coordinate. And that's going to be a problem for a lot of gamers, I think. I think a lot of gamers are going to have an issue with the coordination thing, because it is not it's team deathmatch, which is the mode that they have. It's not geared for the usual FPS shooter. I'm going for Dolo, I'm just going to get kills. If you do that, you're fucking up, because the goal of Team Deathmatch is, of course, to get to 35 kills first. That being said, every time a player gets shot, he's down. He's not dead. You have a chance to revive him, a la Last of Us. You have to finish them off by like either meleeing them or shooting them until they're completely down to have a kill registered on the board. So you have an opportunity to save your team from having a kill on the board if you go and try to revive your teammate. So you need to be aware when someone's down and try to get to them before the enemy does. Sometimes you'll get to them and the enemy's there. You'll have a firefight. So it builds a level of strategic play and constant flowing action that just works very, very well. But if you're that guy who loves the traditional FPS or third-person shooter, I'm just gonna run around and I'm just gonna gun everybody the fuck down and have this huge fucking kill streak. Well, you go ahead and do that, and as your teammates are dying, you'll find yourself on the losing end a lot. You'll be on the top of the leaderboards, but you're gonna have a lot of losses because you're not playing the game properly. And I guess that's one of the other negatives, is that it's going to have to benefit on a lot of people who get it and who are willing to do the proper thing. You gotta play the game properly to win. You want to play it properly. And with this modern era of shooter people, I don't know if you want to do that. You know what I mean? So that's going to be an issue. I say sidekicks probably can be dialed down, or at least the brute. No, all sidekicks. The only reason I say sidekicks need to be adjusted is that they shouldn't have regen health. If I get a sidekick and he takes damage, he should not get his health back. That's wrong. That's totally wrong. No regen health for sidekicks. I don't care if it's mine. Don't regen his health, because something like the brute takes a tremendous amount of damage already, and the fact that you give its health back is ridiculous. All the other ones seem to be kind of more balanced, because even though they get their health back, they take a lot of damage a lot faster. So, but that brute, yeah, that shit's just a tank that just goes around and can last for a while. But what else would I say would be a negative? Technical issues, and again, this is the beta, so don't take this as a huge condemnation of the game. But there have been some technical issues with matchmaking. The first time we played, me and my homegirl, they had issues and getting us both in the match. Like, there were a couple of times where she was the party leader. She would take us into the matchmaking system, and I'd be sitting there looking at a screen that looked like, hey, you're still trying to load into the lobby, and she's playing. Like, what? Or I'll just have nothing on my screen saying that it's searching. It's just me just sitting in the lobby waiting for her to push start when she's already in the middle of a damn game, like shooting people, So, it had technical issues like that. There was this one time where it actually split us up and put us on a separate team, which was weird. We're in a party together. We should be drugged to the same team. So, yeah, they need to get some of the glitches out of the matchmaking system. It was much better, the day that I was playing previous to this recording. But yeah, just stuff like that. It's like, I honestly can't do a lot of nitpicking about this game right now in its current state. Based off of team deathmatch alone, it's pretty solid. Now, we don't know what other modes they're gonna have, how it's gonna be in those modes and things like that, but for what we got now, seems like Naughty Dog's on the right track for this. Hopefully they can continue, and this can end up being a really, really overall fun experience, because what they have now is fun as hell. Hopefully they can keep down this track, so that come release date, for those who aren't into the single player, you'll have that multiplayer component. Or for people like me who like to play some multiplayer, but not a lot, you can pick this up and have fun, and then go about and do like other things that you like in gaming. It's inclusive, but not in a way that right now, to me, it feels like it is just trying to make it, I guess you could say, easier for those people who don't play a lot of multiplayer. It feels like it's, if you don't play a lot of multiplayer, you can probably get into this, because it's not that right now. It doesn't seem like the community is separating itself and, you know, becoming elitist, I guess, because of the style of the game. But at the same time, the style of the game encourages like people who are really into the Uncharted world to play it as well. It's striking a fine balance right now. It's really striking a fine balance. But time will tell. We will see exactly what it's going to be when all is said and done in March. But anyway, this is a long ass video, so thank you for putting up with me. I guess I really like this game. Anyway, you guys hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This is your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Deuces.